Welcome to a special installment of the Daily Shift where we are doing 21 days. I'm taking you through those 21 days of how to be stress-free over the holidays. And you can be stress-free at any time of the year, obviously. So I would suggest to go ahead and save this playlist here on YouTube if that's where you're watching it, because I made also a simple playlist for you. And so this is day 12 of 21. If you're new to me, my name is Raquel, and I'm a GPS for Success. I am doing these 21 days together, and we're doing similar things every single day just to make things a little bit easier, right? Because we love to create easy habit loops. We need three things to be successful in anything we do: accountability, consistency, and support. And this is a way where you can give yourself your own accountability and consistency by tuning in every day, or if you're watching this outside of the timeline, there are apps that you can use to remind yourself of something and saying, okay, now it's time for me to do the exercise. This is what I call part of the 1% solution. And so the 1% solution is really about investing in yourself less than 1% or 1% of your day, which is less than 15 minutes. So we're going to start off with a mantra or an affirmation, if you want to call it that. Whatever floats your boat is fine. Whatever you feel good about. But it's basically a positive statement that you want to live into if you're not there yet. And today's is I am that. I am made for a purpose on purpose. And there are times when we don't feel that way. And there are also, some of us might get a little bit, I was thinking about this earlier, like in our heads about what is our purpose, and then being filled with anxiety and worry and fear over not finding our purpose or being in our purpose. And when that happens, of course, now you're activating worry, fear, and anxiety, which is not what the Creator wants for you. Another thing is also understanding that in spite of what you've been going through, or even how you came, right? Some people have, I was wanted, I was planned for, but not all children were planned for. And if you know their stories, they go, oh, you were oopsie baby, you were a miracle child, you were, oh, I wasn't planning to have a kid. I know people who were told that they were going to be, have their life ended in the womb. I have to say it in other ways, right? But you know what that is. And so they grow up with these stories. It's like, okay, I feel like I'm in the way because I wasn't even planned for. I wasn't even wanted. And then that plays into, and you can see it maybe, play it out in your life, in your money, in your relationships. And you can have codependency issues. You can have connection issues. It manifests in many different ways. But understanding this, that you are made on purpose, for a purpose. That even if your parents did not plan you, did not want you, did not take care of you, you might just even call them your caregivers. And not even call them your parents because they weren't good parents. In spite of all those things, you were created by the Creator on purpose. When the timeline was being created, and this is my point of view, I'm a Jesus freak, that the Creator looked at this time and said, this timeline is insufficient without this person in it. And that's one reason why you were created. You were created on purpose. You were birthed out of the heart of the Father of lights. I really believe that is true. And so the second thing that we're doing together, you can pause and come back to this, or just go ahead and note the time. It's 4 minutes in-ish. And one of the exercises is rewriting history. From some of the scenarios that I just mentioned, is any of that true for you? And you can think about those memories. And memories are fuzzy because they're not always very accurate. The older we get and replay them, they start to shift. We can't always rely on our memory because they're through our filter of current experiences and belief systems. But this is how you take your power back. If any memory is coming up where you don't feel like you were made on purpose, maybe it's one of those scenarios, like I said, then how should have that memory, that experience gone? rewrite it, and then go ahead and do a forgiveness exercise, forgiving yourself for believing the hogwash, and also forgiving the people who played a role in making you believe and by telling you stories. And it doesn't mean that they don't love you or accept you or like you even. But sometimes people say things and they don't understand that words matter because they become matter. I have clients from as young as 22 and going into their 70s. Words matter, stories matter. What people say to you, some people, they carry that with them for decades. And this is a time for you to take your power back. And that's how you're able to release some stress, by seeing yourself through the eyes of love and grace, starting with yourself. How should I have that gone? We're going to do a practice now called tapping, and it's an EFT, emotional freedom technique. So just do what I do and repeat after me. If you want to know more around, like, what is that, right? How does that work? I'll go with the flow now, but I don't know how that works. Check out the first video in this series where I talk about tapping and all the juicy things that it does for us. It's an amazing practice that you can do at any time, and that's one of the modalities. Also, if you're here still with me, check out the description below, because I think I'm going to put this up in the website, but there'll be a place called, my gifts to you. And one of them that you can have is the digital journal that inspired this. So the digital journal is beautiful. It's called the Ultimate 21-Day Self-Love Journey. It's got the 21 days. It's got the different journal prompts, and also has 21 videos attached to it, one for every day, that I call boosters. So if you would like that complimentary gift, that love gift from me to you, then I encourage you to go ahead and get it below. I think I'm going to put out some other free things too, so check that out. All right, so let's just do some things called the setup phrase. We're going to go like this, and then we're going to tap, kind of in the middle of the head, where the eyebrows are, in between, underneath, crevice right here, right here in the collarbone. And then we're just going to do the wrist. And to keep this under in the 1%, right, you can come back and do the EFT. And I would really suggest doing the EFT. You can do the journaling before and after, just to see how you feel. But start with the EFT. I have clients who I do this kind of stuff with them. They've lost weight without even changing their diet or exercise. They have, their love relationships have really improved, and they've seen their relationships thrive. Another client of mine, she made her financial goals, and she wanted to have $5,000 come in, and she had over $5,000 come in a very short amount of time. This works really, really fast and for different things. So I really encourage you to just go ahead and give yourself the gift of time. Right? The time's going to pass anyway. Today, I take responsibility for my life, which just means that I have the ability to respond. And maybe I was told some things around my birth that have made me feel as though I have to prove something or I'm in the way. And even though I might feel certain things about myself, I choose to deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself. And so it is. Take a breath. Hold, release. Top of the head. I can remember right now some stories around my birth. And maybe I was wanted and planned for. And maybe that has made me feel as though I need to prove something. As though there's a lot on my shoulders because there's so much expectation and I don't want to let anyone down. Yes, I am made on purpose for a purpose. And the story around my birth is already ingrained in me. But I can reverse that. I can release those stories now. Or maybe the stories around my birth were not as kind. Maybe it was a botched elimination, or I wasn't really planned or wanted, and those stories around that birthed something in me that's not even true. And that may have manifested in different ways in my life, causing unnecessary worry, anxiety, and fear. And that shows up in the boundaries that I have with people, with myself, and even with money. I'm an empath, feeling somebody's emotions right now. The truth is that I am that. I am made on purpose for a purpose. And I may not know what that purpose is. Or maybe I do know a little bit. I have a glimpse of it. But right now I choose to take my power back. I can choose right now my own story. Because belief systems are only a story that we have been told over and over again, or we have chosen for ourselves. It's just a story. So I'm going to choose a new one. I am that. I am made on purpose for a purpose. I am beautifully and wonderfully made. I was planned for by the creator of everything that is good and pure and perfect. This timeline is incomplete without me. And right now, I'm saying yes to that. Yes to myself. Yes to this life. Yes to I belong here. And so I choose to take my place in it and take up space in it, because I am that. I am made on purpose for a purpose. And I choose right now to figure out what some of that is and start walking in it a little bit every single day, because I am that. I am beautifully and wonderfully made. I'm amazing. I am brilliant. I am kind and generous. I appreciate my talents and gifts, and I'm ready to have all that was prepared for me. And so it is. Breath. Hold. Release. Well, I love you very much. And I encourage you to check out the rest of this series. The links to everything you need to know is below. Until next time, which will be very, very soon. May God's richest and best be yours. I love you. Bye now.